且待我三头六臂或坚强，有谁人能阻挡？脚踩烽火，踏破凌霄上，且待我除暴安良，正义章，再回到你身旁，区神仙不作孽疤。
Tian Teck Keng Temple in Singapore has come a long way from its humble beginnings in Orgyo of Balestier to its current home now at Tampines Link. So back in the day when there were no temples, the families of the kampong will all come together each year to celebrate this deity, which is San Tai Zi, and they would pua-puay using the moon blocks to seek, for a Lor-Chu, which is, it means the head of the joss. And so whoever got the Lor-Chu that year will bring home the statue of this particular 98-year-old San Tai Zi deity and the Joseon home to worship till the next year, and this starts again. So the deity makes his rounds of all the homes in the kampong at the time in Orgyo, depending on who is keen to host him, just by using the pua-puay or the moon blocks. So usually when one visits a Taoist temple, you'll be able to see at least one, if not multiple, effigies of San Tai Zi and their different manifestations, as he acts as a vanguard for all the other altar deities enshrined within that particular shrine or temple. So Tian Teck Keng Temple in Singapore is the only temple actually worships San Tai Zi in its battle form manifestation, which is San头六臂 莲花三太子 as the main deity or 主神. So in part 2 today that you're watching, Jackson, who has since sought permission with San Tai Zi in part 1. So if you've not watched part 1 at all, I'll leave my link up here so that you can actually watch part 1 and catch up on the story that Jackson is actually telling us in Tian Teck Keng in Singapore. He's on site at the place, and so he will take us viewers through behind the altar, because he has sought permission to do so, up close and personal with the first original 98-year-old San Tai Zi statue that started it all.
Okay, hi everyone. Here we are really in the main altar of莲花三太子, and I think it's a privilege to really come into the altar. And when you come in, you really can feel the energy is very different. It's a very serene place inside the altar. And normally we do not come into the main altar. It's only during year end that I will come in and do some cleaning. But you can see all these gods that we have in these temples are really, really with us for a very long time. But today I will just focus my introduction on really San Tai Zi. And then when we have chance later on, over the next few episodes, we can look at the history of every god, because all of them has a very, very deep history that we would like to also introduce to everyone, so that everyone know all about Tian Teck Keng Temple and also know about Taoism in general. So let's look at really coming closer, right, to look at all these different statues that we have over the years. You can just have a look. All these statues here have been with us for a very long time. You can see all these are in the image of Nurja, right? And in his right hand, you will see him holding a universal ring as his weapon, and of course the fire spear. And what you see behind here are actually the image of the red sash, which is all on his shoulder. It's part of his weapon. And you can see for this statue is a Zhongtan Yuan Shuai, in the representation of the general, the 5 general. He is the captain of the 5 general in this form. And now I want to show you something amazing. It's the 98-year-old statue that really has been following us since day 1. And as we have explained our history of Tian Teck Keng Temple, 98 years old, 98 years ago, this statue has been with us and prayed by the villager in Kampong, prayed by the villager in Kampong, where every year they will go to one villager's house. And over the years, we have set up temples, small temples in behind Okyo, Teck Keng in Balestier. That was our first place, and slowly on moving on to Juchet, moving on to Geylang, Lor-Chu, and finally at Tampines. And if you want to really know more about the history of Tian Teck Keng, you can refer to the first video that's done by Hakka Moy. Thank you to Hakka Moy for helping us, but you can look at our first video of the history of San Tai Tzu. So now let's look clearly. I don't want to touch the statue because it's really a very nice and old statue. You can see him holding on to his fire spear in his right hand, really ready to fight. And then with his universal ring here, which is part of his weapon. And then this ring can actually, in a book record, it can actually grow big as he want. And you can see San Tai Tzu's characteristic is that he's standing on fire wheels, as you can see here. Fire wheels. And I would like to focus your attention to the look of San Tai Tzu. Although 98 years old, but it's been well maintained. If you look at closely at his look, he showed the image of a very courageous and brave look of a child, general, ready to fight. And this is the 98-year-old statue, the first statue that we had in Tian Teck Keng Temple. That time was in a village, handed over from villager to villager, until he gained enough reputation to be able to because of that, the donation from people are able to set up temples, and then slowly become the huge temple that you see today. So that was our 98-year-old Lianhua Shan Tai Tzu, a very precious memory that we have for the history of this temple. And then you can also see this very interesting taller statue over here. You can see clearly he's stepping on dragon, right? And if you know the history of San Tai Tzu's fight with the dragon, the third son of the Dragon King, you can see very clearly in this image that actually he is in the process of fighting the king. Fighting the dragon, fighting the third son of the dragon. So from all the image of God, you can actually see that there is a story of the deity. In a way, they express themselves. Whether is it the way they are holding weapons, or whether is it the way they stand, or whether is it in the form of nurture look, or whether is it in the form of the general look. Okay, so all these are different images that we have about the manifestation of the Lianhua Shan Tai Tzu. Okay, are you ready for the largest statue? And the statue that is really came about because of a dream of a devotee. Okay, so I'm going to show you, really the largest statue, if you can follow me. Okay, the largest statue here, if you can see, is really a large statue with 3 heads, and if you count the number of hands, legs, have a total of 6. 4 at the side, 1 in front, and 1 at the back. So this is the manifestation of Lianhua Shan Tai Tzu, where we call San头六臂 Lianhua San Tai Tzu. In history, in the records, San Tai Tzu actually manifests himself with 3 heads and 6 limbs, 6 hands, in the most powerful form. So if you can look clearly, at the 3 heads, maybe we'll zoom in to let you have a look at the 3 heads. The 3 heads and 6 hands was actually a power provided to San Tai Tzu by Master Tai Yi, which is his master. Okay, so you can see very clearly the 3 heads as well as his 6 hands. So let me share with you a little bit about the history of San头六臂 Lianhua San Tai Tzu. History was about Master Tai Yi one day given a glass of wine and a fire date to San Tai Tzu. And after he drank the wine and eat the date, he realized suddenly that out came 2 heads that he had, and out came 6 hands that he had. He was very surprised and shocked, and ran to his master Tai to actually ask, why did I actually get 2 more heads, and why did I get 4 more hands? And of course, in the story, he was presented with 8 hands actually, and what we have here is a manifestation of 6 hands. And Master Tai laughed and told him, this is the power that is being given to you. And at the same time, Master Tai actually gave weapons to莲花三太子. In each of the 8 hands, 8 hands that he had, Master Tai actually gave a weapon to him. So just want to share with you the weapon that San Tai Zi has are the 2 wheels, the 2 fire wheels that he's stepping on. The universal ring as you can see here, okay, and then the fire spear, which is him holding in his hand at the back. Of course, the red sash over his shoulder, and in each of the hand there holds a weapon. Okay, the weapon is a gold brick. This brick given to him when thrown afar can actually kill our enemy. And lastly is the yin and a yang sword. Yin and a yang sword. So why did Master Tai give him that 8 weapon? It's because he has a task to fulfill. He is now going to be the general, leading the Wu Ying Jiangjun, or the 5 generals, going to fight against the enemy. And that's why Master Tai actually gave him all this power. Okay, so in general, that is actually the history of really 三头六臂莲花三太子. And because we are in here today, I just want to also take the chance to introduce to you his brothers. If you really know, not many temples actually pray to his brother, but you can see what we have here are his 2 brothers, Jing Zha and Mu Zha. Okay, so on his left, as you can see, is on his right, as you can see, is Mu Zha, the second son of Li Jing, and which is the brother of San Tai Zi. This is Mu Zha. As you can see in his hand, he holds a sword in the right hand. Okay, and then if you come over here, you can see his eldest brother, which is Jing Zha, or what we call Jing Zha Da Tai Zi. Okay. So if you can see in our temple Tian Teck Keng, we actually pray to our main god, which is San Tai Zi. And of course, what you see here is the 三头六臂莲花三太子 manifestation of Naja in his most powerful form. And with him are his 2 brothers. So that's all for my sharing today. Thank you everyone for your time. And also thanks to Hakam Moy for putting it together. In this video clip that we're going to show to you. Our wish is really for you to know not just my temple Tian Teck Keng, but also general knowledge about Taoism, general story about San Tai Zi, because his essence, his values about loyalty, his values about bravery is something that we all need to learn. And I just want everyone to know that Taoism shouldn't be seen as just superstitious, but there is actually a lot of story in each and every of the God that we pray to, and we must understand the values that is being presented by these gods through their history. That's why in Chinese we say Shen Xian. Shen Xian actually can be translated into, from the word Shen, can be translated into Jing Shen, which is the energy, which is the spirit, which is the values of the gods. So really right here, thank you very much everyone for your time. Over the next few episodes, I will take you through the many multiple gods that we have in the temple with very, very rich history. I will take time to present to everyone. Okay, so thank you very much. That's the end of today. Bye.